If you don't like the idea of sharing your food, then definitely don't have any children. I literally had my baby the other day stick his entire face into my french fries and just lick them, like not even enjoy them. He could have dipped them in some delicious ketchup or even ranch and enjoy that salty goodness, but no, he just licked them. That's it. I don't even know what his overall objective was. He just decided to ruin my entire meal and lick all of the french fries. And in case you're wondering if I still ate them, of course I did. I am definitely not throwing away a perfectly delicious order of french fries just because the baby licked them. I'm not an absolute madman. Anyways, these are the rumblings of a madman. Let's get straight into today's video. And if you thought this was going to be a well thought out, well organized video about action figures, then you are completely mistaken. I don't know exactly what kind of channel you think this is. I just wanted to showcase some of the really cool customs that are happening online through third-party marketplaces. I think some of these are really cool. They're really interesting. I believe the creators deserve some recognition for their hard work, and this is all that's doing. I just wanted to showcase some of that stuff that I've been running into myself. And hey, if you guys are really interested in some of these figures, you can probably still pick them up as of the moment of this recording. So hopefully you guys enjoy this type of content. I really like showcasing really cool customs from the community as a whole. But today we're only going to be focusing on like 1/12 Marvel Legends custom action figures. I'm sure we'll eventually do one for like the DC multiverse from McFarlane, but today we're only going to focus on Marvel Legends. So as I said, if you guys enjoy the content, definitely stay tuned. We do a lot of this kind of random action figure content, so hopefully you guys find a little bit of value here. So let's get straight into it. Let's not waste any more saliva. And actually the first couple of listings are not necessarily action figures, and I guess I'm kind of breaking my own rules because today's video is just about custom action figures, but I just wanted to bring up a couple of custom accessories that are made by some of these third-party sellers. The first one that I ran into was the spiderweb for your Marvel Legends Spider-Man action figures. You're paying roughly about like 24 bucks for these, but you are getting 8 different effect pieces. There have been an insane amount of these sold by the seller, and he does overall have a pretty good rating. Now the description is a little bit vague. You do get 8 of these web effect pieces, but I'm not 100% sure if they're all the exact same or he's going to throw in a little bit of variety. Regardless, if you are getting 8 of these for roughly about like $25 with, you know, all the fees included, that's actually not a bad price. And again, referring to the description, these are going to be wired, so you can move them around and pose them however you like. I also ran into this Ghost Rider fire chain, which according to the description is semi-posable, so you can kind of get it into certain positions, but it looks phenomenal. It looks really well crafted. And as I mentioned with the previous entry, this is also pretty affordable, including shipping and taxes. You should probably be paying under $20. Great value if you want to add a little bit more class to your Ghost Rider figure. This is an absolutely perfect accessory. But without wasting any more breath or saliva, let's get into the actual figures. First one that I ran into was this custom Colossus figure. It has that beautiful X-Men yellow and blue custom paint job, which looks phenomenal. And by the way, I wouldn't even be that surprised if Hasbro has this coming like right around the corner. But this figure is available for just about $120. And if you're really interested in this figure, definitely keep an eye on it because there are quite a few other watchers. I believe this is up to like 10 watchers at the moment of this recording. The seller also compared a Wolverine next to Colossus, and I have to say the likeness in terms of the paint job is pretty good. This is probably one of the most difficult things to do when it comes down to customizing a figure and having it match a uniform that Hasbro is releasing, because sometimes those paint jobs, or sometimes it's not necessarily paint, it could be actual plastic, but Colossus definitely matches that like team blue and yellow. So it's definitely a figure worth checking out if you have the extra $100. The figure looks phenomenal, and I believe even if you try to find the deluxe version of this figure, I know it's up for pre-order, but if you try to find it just loose, you're already looking at like $60 to $70. So with a custom paint job, and maybe if you make an offer to the seller, he'll accept, but still not really that bad of a price if you're interested in a blue and yellow Colossus figure. The next figure is really interesting for like an insane amount of reasons, primarily because the base body mold for this Juggernaut is actually that Last Night on Earth Bane Build-A-Figure from McFarlane. It was actually a figure that got insanely criticized because of the really weird legs that just kept falling off of the figure, very limited articulation, and there was essentially no posability. Now, he would eventually come back with probably one of the best Bane action figures we've ever seen, but at least this particular rendition was just not really well received. Now, the proportions on this particular Juggernaut are very interesting, but I actually like the dimensions. Usually you get like a very bulky, wide Juggernaut, but obviously this body mold is based on a completely different character from the DC universe, but it actually works. And obviously it depends on what particular version of Juggernaut you're looking at, but there have been multiple instances where he's been drawn like this, kind of like a smaller frame or a less wide body at least. I really like it. Now, the price on it is pretty hefty. You're looking at about $200, but the sculpt work is absolutely phenomenal. Great paint job, and it's just a really interesting take on Juggernaut. I really like it. I don't know if that 200 price point is a little bit too high, but you know, if you have the money, it's definitely a figure worth checking out. And similar to our previous entry, there are already about 10 watchers, so there's definitely quite a bit of interest in the figure, and I can definitely see why. You can definitely tell that the seller just put an insane amount of work into the figure. Next up, I wanted to show off this Spider Side action figure, and if you guys are wondering exactly who this character is, he was created by Stan Lee originally, and he's supposed to be sort of like a clone of Spider-Man. He still has all of the powers and all of the abilities that Peter Parker has. This is easily probably the most affordable custom on eBay, and there are just an insane amount of people trying to actually get this figure. I believe there's almost 40 watchers for this custom. Now, the description is really interesting because the seller is just so fed up with people trying to get like a free tutorial from this creator on how he made this figure. And basically in the description, he's like, don't message me if you're not planning on purchasing the figure. If you're just going to waste my time asking me about it, don't, because you know, he's busy. He probably has stuff going on. And honestly, I completely understand him. This is, after all, an eBay listing, so I don't understand why people keep badgering about it. But it's a really cool character. I'm surprised that Hasbro hasn't given us something like this. It looks really well done, really well sculpted. And honestly, if you're really into the Spider-Man lore, this is definitely a figure to keep your eyes on. And like I said, pretty affordable compared to almost all of the figures on today's list, where they're like in the hundreds. This is relatively affordable. I mean, $60, not bad. The last figure that I wanted to show you guys was this cell shaded Scarlet Spider. It's relatively simplistic compared to a lot of the other entries on today's list, but this looks absolutely phenomenal. You can definitely tell that there was a painstakingly high amount of effort placed into this figure. Now, let's be brutally honest, the chances of Hasbro releasing a cell shaded Scarlet Spider within the next couple of years is incredibly high, but for those few people out there that are just incredibly impatient, you can actually pick this one up for just a little over $100. Now, very similar to all of the entries on today's list thus far, this has an insane amount of watchers. As of the moment of this recording, there are almost about 40, so it is definitely a figure that people are keeping an eye on. Like I said, there's no custom sculpt work here, but the shade work alone I think is definitely worth checking out. So there you guys have it. I'm not gonna ramble anymore. I even get tired of my own voice, so I can only imagine strangers online having to listen to this for like over 10 minutes. It's just not gonna happen. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you guys like this type of content? Let me know in the comment section. And as always, stay tuned because we do upload random nonsense like this. And if you guys enjoyed it, then you will definitely enjoy our catalog of videos. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. Keep collecting. Keep enjoying the hobby, which is the most important thing out there, obviously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.